So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a short span of time in around 30 minutes. The purpose is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis because current affairs form the most important portion of your civil services examination, especially UPSC. But we know that you can't spend your entire day reading the newspaper or covering current affairs. Therefore, to save time, we have come out with this lecture series in which we'll cover the entire day's current affairs within 30 minutes. You don't have to look anywhere else as far as current affairs are concerned. Okay? So spend around 30 minutes watching this lecture. But just watching this lecture would be job half done. And why do I say so? The thing is that when you have covered the current affairs, you have a desire of remembering them also. You want to remember them for longer periods of time. And for that, you need to revise them. Because without revision, you will be forgetting these current affairs in a couple of days. You would easily forget them. Therefore, revision is important. Spend another 20 to 25 minutes revising these current affairs just after watching them, spending 30 minutes on them. Okay. Now, where can you revise these current affairs from? Well, we'll be sharing notes for you guys. Okay. Now, these notes shall be available on our Telegram channel. Now, the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. All you have to do is just click on that link. It will take you to our Telegram channel. From there, you can download the notes for this lecture and spend 20 to 25 minutes revising this lecture. So 30 minutes of watching this lecture and 20 minutes of revising this lecture, and in about 50 minutes time, you'll be done for the day. You don't have to worry about current affairs anymore. Your entire day is free now. Spend as you want it. All right? Okay. So that would be all as far as introduction is concerned. Now let's start the lecture, okay? But first, let's take a look at the topics we shall cover in today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we'll be focusing on 5 topics. These are the 5 topics that featured in today's newspaper that are of importance, okay? Number 1 is decline of total fertility rate. Recently, RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat said that India needs to come out with a 3-child policy now. Every Indian household should have 3 children because India's total fertility rate is declining, and that is problematic. So what is this total fertility rate? We'll talk about this. Then 1st December was Border Security Force BSF's Raising Day. So what is Raising Day? And what is Border Security Force? What are its functions? When was it formed? We'll talk about this. Then recently, central government, especially Ministry of Agriculture, issued an advisory to all state governments to conduct camps to make Kisan Pehchan Patra or farmer IDs for all the farmers. Central government has said that state government needs to speed up this process. All farmers should have a farmer ID. Now, what is farmer ID? Under what mission are these farmer IDs being issued? And what is the purpose behind this? We'll talk about this. Then recently a news came out that a vaccine for AIDS has been developed with 100% efficiency. That means a permanent cure to the problem of AIDS is near us. So we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll again talk about Ajmer Sharif Dargah. In yesterday's lecture, we talked about Saint Moinuddin Chishti, on whose honor this Ajmer Sharif Dargah was made. Recently, this Dargah is in controversy. So yesterday we talked about Moinuddin Chishti. Today we'll talk about his Dargah, its art and architecture basically. So Ajmer Sharif Dargah, history, art, architecture and all that. All right. So first topic is related to Indian society and social development. So this is GS1. Second is internal security, BSF. So this is GS3. This is agriculture, which is part of economics. This is again GS3. Vaccine for AIDS is science and technology, again GS3. And this is related to Indian culture, which is part of GS1. All right. So these are the 5 topics that we are going to cover in today's lecture. So without further ado, without much delay, let's straight away jump into topic number 1, which is decline of total fertility rate. So what was in the news? This is basically RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat, and he has expressed his concern about declining fertility rate in India, declining total fertility rate in India. Okay, and he says that the government should come out with a 3-child policy. You remember India's earlier population policy was 2-child policy, called 2-child policy. I mean, our population policy was that we encourage couples to have only 2 children because we wanted to control population. But now our population is set to decline in the near future. So Mohan Bhagwat is expressing concern regarding that, and he says that couples should have 3 children. Okay. In fact, in 2022 also, he said that we need to revamp or reform our population control policy. Now, this concern expressed by Mohan Bhagwat ji is also resonated by various CMs, chief ministers of southern states, especially Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu. Right? They have also expressed concern regarding aging population of South India. So this is a lot of, this concern is shared by many people. Okay. So first of all, let's know what total fertility rate is. Okay. So what is basically total fertility rate? Okay. As far as the definition is concerned, the number of babies an average woman who's aged between 15 to 49, because this is considered the reproductive age. Okay. Females can have children between this age bracket only. Though there are exceptions, of course, there are exceptions, but this is the reproductive age. So on average, a female in this age bracket in India has how many children? Okay, average number of children that every female in India belonging to this age bracket has. This is total fertility rate. Okay, now if total fertility rate is 3, that means every female has had 3 children in India on average. Again, the word average is important over here. Okay, now the thing is, it is said that if a female has 2 children, okay, then those 2 children would eventually replace mother and father, and the population would stay stagnant. Okay, so if every female has 2 children, well, then that means that the population will remain stagnant because the mother and father would be replaced by 2 children. If a female has 1 children, well, then population would eventually decline. Okay, because the 2 parents are replaced by just 1 child. And if it is more than 2, well, then population is set to grow. Right? Now, it is said that if a total fertility rate of 2.1 is there, then the population is at replacement level, or the fertility rate is at replacement level. That means the children will exactly replace their previous generation. The population won't grow, the population won't decline. Okay, so a total fertility rate of 2.1 is considered replacement level fertility rate. Now, why don't we say 2.0 and we say 2.1? Because many children die also during the process of birth. Okay, there is infant mortality rate. That is why the average is said to be 2.1 to have replacement level fertility. Okay, so a TFR of 2.1 is considered replacement level. Okay, so if your total fertility rate is more than 2.1, then your population is set to grow in the future. If it is less than 2.1, then it is set to decline in future. Though that decline might take some time, but it will decline in future. Okay. Now, why is Mohan Bhagwat ji worried? Well, he says he's worried because in 2022, a data set came out which said that India's on average total fertility rate has declined, is below 2.1, is below replacement level. So India's on average fertility rate is below 2.1 now, as per a recent report in 2022. Okay, of course, there are variations, state specific variations. For example, northern states have total fertility rate more than 2.1, but southern states have total fertility rates less than 2.1. But average fertility rate in India is less than 2.1. Okay, and this is what Mohan Bhagwat is pointing out. All right, now what is the problem? Why should people be worried if your fertility rate is declining? Well, a declining TFR, or at least a declining TFR or a declined TFR which is below than 2.1, which is below replacement level, has some problematic consequences. First, there is low demographic dividend. Now, what do we mean by demographic dividend? Demographic dividend is high when your working age population is high. People who belong to this age bracket, 15 to 49, if their population is high, well, you have high demographic dividend because people in this population would work. They work, they produce wealth. People who are less than 15 or greater than 59, they are dependents. They depend on the wealth created by these people, right? So if your country has high working age population, well, you have demographic dividend. But if your fertility rate declines, it declines below 2.1, then that means your population is about to age. Aging of population. That would mean that the dependence in your country would increase and wealth producers would decline. That has severe economic consequences. Plus, it also increases financial burden for states, for countries, and for the working age population, because these people have to support senior citizens. Plus, the government's money would get spent on pensions, healthcare costs of these senior citizens. So it means more financial burden. So that is why this is problematic. This is not good news for a rising economy. All right. Okay. That's all we need to know about TFR. Now let's quickly shift focus to next topic, which is BSF Raising Day. So what do we mean by Raising Day? Well, it is the day on which this particular force was established. Okay. So BSF Raising Day is Border Security Force Raising Day. Every year on 1st December, it is celebrated. Okay. Because on 1st December 1965, BSF was born. That is why every year on 1st December, Raising Day is celebrated. So on Raising Day celebrations, a senior official in Border Security Force says that India-Pakistan border will get a new design fence with high-tech features. Okay, so that border infiltration is stopped. All right, that is the statement made by the senior BSF official on this occasion. By the way, this occasion was the 60th raising day of BSF. All right, that would be all as far as the news is concerned. But you need to have some information regarding BSF. So what is BSF? Okay, so BSF was raised in 1965 after the India-Pakistan war. It is one of the 7 central armed police forces. So what are those 7 central armed police forces? Central armed police forces are 7 police organizations or security organizations that function under central government, especially Ministry of Home Affairs. These are CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force; CISF, Central Industrial Security Force; okay, then BSF, then ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police, then Sashastra Seema Bal, this is for India-Nepal border, then we have Assam Rifles, Indo-Myanmar border, right, Assam Rifles, and Northeast, and then we have NSG, National Security Guard, NSG Commandos. So these are the 7 police armed police organizations that function under MHA. BSF is one of them. Okay. Now, what is the job of BSF? Well, BSF's primary role is guarding India-Pakistan and India-Bangladesh border. Okay. For India-Nepal and Bhutan border, there is SSB. For India-China border, there is ITBP. Okay. For India-Myanmar, there is Assam Rifles. Right. So for India-Pakistan and India-Bangladesh border, we have BSF. But BSF is also given additional roles also. Like it is used in anti-Naxal operations in central India. It is also sent by India abroad to foreign nations as UN peacekeeping missions. Okay. So these are the features of Border Security Force. That would be all. That's all you need to know. Okay. Now let's move on to our next news item, which is Kisan Pehchan Patra or Farmer ID. Now, why was this in news? Because Ministry of Agriculture, Union Ministry of Agriculture has asked the states to organize camps to ensure faster generation of farmer ID. Because earlier this year, Government of India announced that like every citizen has Aadhaar card for identity, every farmer should have a farmer ID. Okay, so that government is able to better plan schemes for farmers' welfare. Okay, these farmer IDs are also called Kisan Pehchan Patras, and government aims that around 11 crore digital farmer ID, out of which 6 crore will be covered in 2024-25, 3 crore in 25-26, and 2 crore in 26-27 will be generated. So government is targeting 11 crore farmer IDs in next 3 years. Now, what are these farmer IDs and what is their use? Basically, you need to know this, okay? Because you need to know why central government is after state governments to issue these IDs as soon as possible. Government must be having something in mind, right? Government is planning something big for the farmers. That is why government is asking state governments to issue these farmer IDs as soon as possible. So first of all, what are these farmer IDs? So these are Aadhaar linked unique digital identity that is linked dynamically to the state's land records, besides having information like demographics, crop zone, and ownership details. So these are IDs. Every farmer would be generated this ID. Okay, would have this ID. This farmer ID would be related or would be linked to the land records of states. So this farmer ID would have information about the farmer's land. Then demographic information, his village, his caste, religion, and whatnot. Then crop zone, the crops he sows on his land, and ownership details. How much land that farmer owns, how much land he has taken on rent, everything would be available on this farmer ID. Okay. Now, this database of 11 crore farmers would be stored in a farmer's registry with the central government. Okay. Now, what is farmer registry? So it is one of the three registries under AgriStack component of Central Digital Agricultural Mission. So earlier this year, Government of India launched Digital Agriculture Mission. Under Digital Agricultural Mission, government launched three things. Okay. Under Digital Agricultural Mission, government launched three things. One is AgriStack. The other is Kisan Decision Support System. The other is Soil Profile Maps. These are the three things launched under Digital Agriculture Mission. Again, the purpose of Digital Agriculture Mission was that since digital technologies have basically benefited every sector, okay, financial sector benefits a lot out of UPI, Google Pay and whatnot, digital technologies, right? Subsidies have become more efficient because of Jandhan accounts, digital technologies. Similarly, agriculture can also be transformed through digital technologies. That is why Digital Agricultural Mission was launched. Under this, these three things were launched. AgriStack would have three registries. One of those registries would be Farmer Registry, which would contain all the farmer IDs and all the information of farmers. Again, this information is important for the government to know, because how would they plan for farmers if they don't know about farmers, right? So that is why government is gathering this data. All right. Now let's gather some more information about Digital Agriculture Mission. So Digital Agriculture Mission, it is an umbrella scheme to excuse me, to support digital agricultural initiatives. Okay. So under Digital Agricultural Mission, all the digital interventions to help farmers would be launched. Okay. Initially, it would launch three digital public infrastructure. Okay. These three digital public infrastructures are AgriStack, Krishi DSS, Decision Support System, and Soil Profile Maps. So AgriStack would basically contain three registries. Okay. Farmers Registry, which contains farmer IDs, georeference village maps. So all the land records would have geographical information with maps. So all the land records that states have would also now be linked to maps. Okay. So you can look at a land record and you can see it on a map also. So this, and crop zone registry, data of all the crops sown all over India. So this is AgriStack. Then Krishi Decision Support System. It will create a comprehensive geospatial system to unify remote sensing based information. So satellite based information on crops, soil, weather, water resources would be available on Krishi DSS. And soil profile maps would be created, which would give you a geographical idea about a soil in a particular region and its nutrients and its components. Okay. So this is the thing. All right. Okay. Now let's shift focus to fourth news item of the day, which is vaccine for AIDS. Well, twice yearly shot. That means you need to get this vaccine twice every year for 100% efficiency in preventing HIV infections. Okay. So HIV infections can now be prevented. For the very first time, a vaccine has come out, which, if given to everyone twice on an yearly basis, would result in preventing HIV infections. Okay. Now, who created this vaccine? Gilead International is the name of the company. Basically, Gilead International created a drug. Okay, it created a medicine for HIV. So if you have HIV, you are given this medicine called Sunlenca, which is basically the brand name, and the name of the medicine is lenacapavir. But Gilead now says that this lenacapavir is generally given to people infected with HIV. But this can also be given to people who are not infected with HIV for preventing HIV. So it can be both used as a curative medicine. If someone is infected with HIV, you are given this, and a preventive medicine also. If you do not have HIV, take this, you won't have HIV. Okay. Now, many people say, experts all over the world say that this might finally end HIV AIDS, the problem of HIV AIDS, because it has shown 100% effectivity. This medicine called lenacapavir. Okay. Now, about this medicine. So about lenacapavir, so it is sold under the brand name of Sunlenca. Okay, the name of the brand name of the medicine is Sunlenca, but it is actually called lenacapavir. It is an antiretroviral medication. What do we mean by antiretroviral medication? So see, antibiotics fight against bacteria. Antivirals fight against viruses. So this is a medicine that attacks viruses, not bacteria. And which types of viruses? Retroviruses. So AIDS virus is retrovirus. So it is an antiretroviral medication used to treat HIV/AIDS. It is taken by mouth or by injection. All right. Now, why is this medicine effective? The thing is that you must have seen coronavirus. You remember coronavirus had this spikes, right? AIDS virus is like this. It doesn't have spikes. Okay. And within this virus, there is genetic material of the virus. Okay. Now, this genetic material of HIV virus is encapsulated in a covering. This covering is made of a protein called capsid. So, what lenacapavir does is it destroys this capsid encompassing. Okay, it destroys this capsid proteins covering. When this covering is destroyed, the virus dies. Okay, so this is what lenacapavir does. So, it is basically a capsid medicine. It destroys the capsid covering of HIV virus. All right. A capsid is the protein shell of a virus enclosing its genetic material. It is an antiretroviral drug that acts as a capsid inhibitor. Okay. So whenever anyone is infected with HIV, this medicine is given. But if someone is not infected with HIV, then too this medicine can help in preventing getting HIV. Okay. So that is why Gilead, the manufacturer of this drug, is seeking authorization for its use as a vaccine also. Its use in prevention also. Okay. Now, some more information about AIDS. Okay. So AIDS is basically a disease, right, which compromises your immune system. So AIDS is a disease called acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, right? AIDS. This is the disease. Now, this disease is caused by a virus called HIV. Okay, human immunovirus. Okay, HIV causes this disease. Okay, now HIV virus has capsid shell. Now that is destroyed by lenacapavir. Now HIV gets transmitted through bodily fluids. That is why HIV virus gets transmitted through sexual intercourse. That is why AIDS is a sexually transmitted disease. Okay, STD basically. Clear? Now, every 1st December there is BSF Raising Day. It is also celebrated as World's AIDS Day. World AIDS Day. Okay. So 1st December World AIDS Day is celebrated every year since 1988 to generate awareness about AIDS. Okay. This year's theme is Take the Rights Path, My Health, My Right. Now, United Nations AIDS organization has said that since 2004, this year 2024 was the lowest number of deaths recorded. Okay. The number of deaths last year in 2023 were the lowest on record since 2004. All right. So we are very close to eliminating AIDS, and this medicine or this vaccine would definitely eliminate AIDS. We can achieve AIDS elimination by 2030. Now, about UNAIDS, well, it is called Joint United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS. It is there to generate policy for AIDS elimination. It was established in 1996 with its headquarters in Geneva, Switzerland. All right. And last news item is Ajmer Sharif Dargah. We know why this was in news because a court has admitted petition regarding the survey of Ajmer Dargah. Many people believe, some people believe, the petition filers believe that a Shiv temple is below this. Okay, so that is why it was in the news. Now, in the last lecture, we talked about the saint, the Sufi saint on whose honor this Dargah was constructed. That was Moinuddin Chishti. Today, we are going to talk about Ajmer Sharif Dargah. All right. So Moinuddin Chishti died in 1236, but a Pakka mausoleum, a Pakka Dargah for him was created in 1460s by Khalji sultans. But these are not Alauddin Khaljis, the Khaljis of Delhi. These are some other Khaljis of Malwa, Madhya Pradesh. Okay, they constructed it. Sultan Mahmud Khan Khalji and his son Ghyasuddin built Buland Darwaza. This is the Buland Darwaza, the northern gateway of the Dargah. Okay, the white marble dome, this dome is made up of white marble. This was basically erected by Humayun, Mughal Emperor Humayun. But it is said that massive construction of this dargah and the prestige and glory of this dargah took place during Akbar's time. Akbar was the son of Humayun. Okay, Akbar was the one on whose watch this dargah became extremely popular. Okay, so it was due to Akbar. All right, now this dargah is in Ajmer, so we need to know some history about Ajmer also. All right, so Ajmer, then referred to as Ajay Meru. So during 11th and 12th century, Ajmer was Ajay Meru. Shortened, this name was shortened down the centuries, and it was called Ajmer. It was once the capital of Chauhan Rajput rulers. Okay, and who ruled Rajasthan, Haryana, Delhi, and Uttar Pradesh from 7th to 12th centuries. Ajay Deva was the ruler who constructed the city of Ajmer, Chauhan ruler. Then this town or this city was attacked by Afghan invader Muhammad Ghori. So as you know, Prithviraj Chauhan fought two battles against Muhammad Ghori, both of them in Tarain, okay, which is in Haryana. So the first battle was won by Prithviraj Chauhan, but he lost in the second battle, and then Muhammad Ghor entered Ajmer and destroyed the city. For the next 400 years, this city lost its glory, but then it was reconstructed by Akbar. Okay, Akbar even constructed a mosque there, which is known as Akbari Masjid, which is still there near the Dargah. Jahangir and Shah Jahan, both these Mughal emperors also donated a lot of stuff for this Dargah. All right, that would be all. And on that note, we'll sign off. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. But please do not forget to revise this lecture as well, because revision is extremely important if you really want to remember these current affairs. Okay, so please do not forget to revise these current affairs just after watching this. On that note, I'll be signing off with the promise of seeing you next time with next day's current affairs. Thank you.